Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Everything you are today and everything you will ever become is the direct result of the way you use your mind. Your mind is like a fertile garden that accepts any seed you plant. Plant thoughts of purpose, and it will produce a life of purpose. Plant thoughts of limitation, and it will faithfully return those as well. For many years, I have observed something curious. You can place two individuals in remarkably similar circumstances and, given enough time, they will arrive at entirely different destinations. One moves steadily forward, the other remains where he has always been. The difference is seldom found in the world around them. It is found in the world within them. If you look around today, you will discover countless men and women waiting for life to improve, waiting for a better opportunity, a fortunate turn of events, someone to recognize their abilities. Yet all the while, the steering wheel of their destiny has been in their hands from the very beginning. They simply have not learned how to use it. Because whether you realize it or not, your mind is constantly moving you in the direction of your dominant thoughts. And the life you are living today is, in many respects, the life your thinking has been preparing you for. Your dominant thought is running your life. Whatever you think about with the greatest consistency is the direction your life is moving. The thought you return to most frequently, the one that occupies the largest share of your mental attention across any given day, that thought is your operating direction. If the thought you return to most is the size of your problems, your mind is organizing your attention around the problems. It is finding more evidence of them. It is selecting from every available experience the information that confirms what it is already focused on. If the thought you return to most is the direction you are building toward, the specific, concrete aim you have chosen and committed to, your mind is organizing around that instead. It begins to notice opportunity where it previously saw obstacle. It finds the connection between what you already know and what the goal requires. Marcus Aurelius, writing late at night in a military camp at the edge of the empire, far from Rome and the comforts of his position, kept returning in his private journals to this observation. He wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." He was not writing about happiness in the entertainment sense. He was describing the same mechanism I am describing, that the quality of the thought determines the quality of the experience, because the thought determines what the mind selects, emphasizes, and acts upon. A man whose dominant thought is that he is capable of building something important will, over years, have organized his daily attention around information and actions that serve that belief. A man whose dominant thought is that the deck is stacked against him will have organized his attention around evidence that confirms that belief. Both men are working with the same basic instrument. The direction in which they have pointed it makes all the difference. So what is your dominant thought right now? Not what you wish it were. What it actually is, for the largest portion of a typical day. The standard you hold in your own mind. Every man holds in his own mind an image of what he is, and that image determines what he believes is available to him. This image is built over years, through the accumulated experience of success and failure, through what the important people in your early life told you about your capacity, through the comparisons you made and the conclusions you drew. By the time you are 40 or 50, the image is established enough that it operates as a background assumption, the lens through which you evaluate every new situation before you've consciously decided what to make of it. The practical effect of this is significant. If your inner image is of a man who is capable and expanding, who figures things out, who grows into new challenges, who can be trusted to do more than he has done before, then when a new opportunity appears, your first response is to lean toward it, to ask how you might be capable of it, to look for the connection between what you already know and what the new thing requires. If your inner image is of a man who has already reached his limit, who has gone about as far as his abilities allow, who cannot quite trust his own judgment in new territory, Then when the same opportunity appears, your first response is to lean away, to protect yourself from the exposure of attempting something and failing at it. The opportunity is identical. The response is determined by the standard you hold in your own mind. Benjamin Franklin understood this in himself and spent considerable effort in his early years deliberately building a different image of what he was capable of. As a young man, he designed a program of personal development, a set of virtues he intended to build, and a system of daily self-examination to track his progress. The program was not remarkable for its sophistication. It was remarkable for what it revealed about Franklin's understanding of the relationship between what a man believes about himself and what he becomes. He was not waiting for his circumstances to improve so that he could feel more capable. He was building the inner standard first and trusting that the outer results would follow from it. They did. The standard you hold in your own mind is something you can deliberately build. It is not fixed. It is not the verdict of your past. It is a picture that can be revised. Through honest examination, through deliberate practice, through the daily choice to hold a more accurate and more generous image of what you are genuinely capable of. The question you ask yourself in difficulty. When things go wrong, and they will, in any life being genuinely lived, the first question you ask yourself determines almost everything that follows. The first is, why did this happen to me? There are situations where understanding what went wrong is essential to preventing the same mistake. But as a reflexive first response to difficulty, it pulls the attention backward toward what has already occurred and cannot be changed, toward the assignment of fault, toward the inventory of what has been lost. The second question is, what is available to me now? This question pulls the attention forward. It accepts the difficulty as a given and asks what the situation, as it actually stands, makes possible. It is not denial. It does not pretend the difficulty isn't real. It simply declines to give the difficulty more than its due. The man who has trained himself to ask the second question first is not an optimist in the cheerful, uncritical sense. He is something more practical than that. A man who has learned that the forward-facing question is more productive than the backward-facing one, and who has built the habit of going there first. Theodore Roosevelt spent much of his early adult life dealing with physical frailty, a body that didn't cooperate with the active, vigorous life he intended to lead. His response was not to accept the limitation as a verdict on what was possible for him. His response was to ask, consistently and persistently, what was available despite the limitation. The answer, pursued across years, included ranching in the Dakotas, leading a cavalry charge in Cuba, and eventually governing the most powerful nation in the Western Hemisphere. Roosevelt wrote late in his life, "Do what you can, with what you have, where you are." This is the exact formulation of the forward-facing question, not, what would I be doing if my circumstances were better, but what can be done with what is actually here, in the actual situation I am actually in. The man who asks this question first, in difficulty, in transition, in the ordinary daily challenge of a serious life, finds more available to him than the man who leads with the backward question. Every time. Because his attention is organized around what can be acted upon rather than what cannot. What you feed the mind determines what it produces. A garden produces what is planted in it. This is the part everyone understands. What is less often examined is the role of what is planted deliberately versus what grows from whatever seed happens to blow in. A neglected garden does not stay empty. It grows what the environment provides, weeds mostly, and whatever volunteer plants happen to arrive on the wind. Left without deliberate planting, the garden fills with whatever comes. Your mind works the same way. If you are not deliberate about what you give your mind to occupy itself with, it will fill itself with whatever the environment provides. And the environment for most adults provides a steady supply of anxiety, comparison, and the accumulated weight of unfinished concerns. None of this is planted by choice. It drifts in, the way seeds drift into an untended garden, and it grows because nothing has been deliberately planted to compete with it. The deliberate planting is the work. It means choosing, with some care, what you read. Not everything that is available is worth the attention it claims. The biography of a man who built something significant in a field you are working in, that is a deliberate planting. The history of how a particular problem was eventually solved after years of failure, that is deliberate planting. The philosophy of a man who faced difficulty and worked through it with clarity and discipline, that is deliberate planting. It means choosing with some care what occupies the mind in the unguarded hours. The commute, the evening, the half hour before sleep. These hours will fill with something. The question is whether you direct them or simply allow them to run. William James, who understood the mechanics of the mind as well as anyone of his era, observed that the mind becomes, over time, a reflection of what it has been repeatedly given. He wrote, "The greatest revolution of my generation is the discovery that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." The attitude of mind is shaped by what the mind is fed. Feed it day after day with material that is expansive, purposeful, and directed toward what you are building, and the attitude adjusts accordingly. It is gradual, but across months and years, the direction of the change is unmistakable. The man who has been feeding his mind deliberately for 5 years thinks differently than the man who has not. Not because he was smarter to begin with, but because the garden has been tended. So, your mind is the one thing in your life over which you have genuine authority. But over the direction of your own thinking, over what you give your attention to, over the standard you hold in your own image of yourself, over the question you ask first when difficulty arrives, over what you deliberately plant in the garden that is producing your life. Because if the thinking is the cause and the life is the result, then a man who is not examining and directing his own thinking is, in a very practical sense, surrendering control of the result. He is waiting at the wheel of a car he is not steering. The good news is that the wheel is there. It has always been there. And the skills required to use it, the daily practice of examining the dominant thought, of raising the inner standard, of asking the forward question in difficulty, of feeding the mind with what is genuinely worth growing, none of these require unusual gifts. They require decision, and then the steady daily practice of honoring that decision. Everything you may still become is a function of what you decide to think about and how you decide to think about it from this day forward. That is a very large thing to have in your hands. Use it well.